Motivation is overrated. Become before you are ready. You know what? Motivation is something that we all subconsciously prescribe to. We go to our phones, we scroll through Instagram, we find that one post, we save it. We go to magazines we see in the aisles, on the way, in the supermarkets. We see the titles, we buy it. We sit and read through it in the lounge. Meanwhile, we leave it just there. Motivation comes and goes. It's something that is fleeting. And a lot of us make the mistake of thinking that it's something that's going to help us. You know, it's so fleeting that we don't even admit it to ourselves. We only entertain ourselves. We consume. Well, life happens. And motivation can't help you in that instance. In 2019, I had a condition in my body that meant that on a daily basis, I would struggle to get up. I would wake up and I would find myself lying in bed, just struggling to get my body to be upright. I said to myself, well, I'm in my 30s, you know what, I'm a man, it will pass. So I let it slide. Months went by until I saw a pimple appear on my neck. I didn't know what it was. It was itchy. I scratched it and thought, this mosquito bite would disappear. Again, weeks went by. My wife said, Neal, we should check this out. It took a lot of man courage to suck it up, but I had to admit that she was right. I had to get it checked out. It was back and forth with the doctor, because all I was feeding the doctor was that I'm okay. I'm doing normal things. I'm still active in the lifestyle that I want. But I never stopped struggling to get out of bed. It was something that subconsciously was telling me, Neal, you need to get this looked at, man. But the man in me was like, no, man. I could get over this. My body is strong enough to fight it. Anyway, the doctor's visits went on for 7 months. It was a long time. Until one day, while we were at the doctor's, I saw the doctor's face look next to me, and my wife was in tears. She was begging the doctor, please, you need to send him to get checked out. So I ended up in the hospital. It was booked for Thursday. I was told, or rather I thought, the next day I'd be out. So I packed a small bag. It was going to be okay. Whatever this pimple is, it'll go away. There are things that I need to do. There's a household that I need to take care of. There's my wife, there's my kids. My child was born 3 months prior to this doctor's visit. I was supposed to embrace her, help her to feel the love that I have for her. One day, I was in the hospital on this day that the doctor had booked for this pimple to be checked out. I thought the Friday I would leave. Turns out the doctor said, wait a minute, you got to stay the weekend. I thought to myself, okay, a little extra time in the hospital I wouldn't mind that. I mean, the Monday, I'm still leaving, so it's fine. Meanwhile, on that Monday, I got the diagnosis. TB of the spine. I was confused. Where did it come from? I didn't have any coughs. I didn't have any night sweats like you usually do, like a person that has TB has. I didn't have any of that. Or did I just ignore it? The likelihood is that I probably ignored it. The man in me was like, no, this is not worth thinking about. And that landed me in the position where I now have TB of the spine. I didn't know what the cause, what the symptoms would become. But when I put 2 and 2 together, me struggling to get out of bed is that symptom. But what was it doing? It was busy eating my vertebrae. I had to sit for a moment and think about what was going on. And to be honest, confusion was all over in my head. That's not the worst. Later the day of the Monday, I received the report from one of the specialists. The report said 2 words that'll never leave my mind because it left a mark in my mind. These 2 words, I haven't said it out loud a lot. Subconsciously, I'm probably afraid of it, afraid of saying it out loud. The words were imminent collapse. What those words mean is that my spine, at any moment, it could crush itself and collapse under its own weight. It would mean that I wouldn't be able to walk. It would mean that I wouldn't be able to do any normal things that I'm used to doing. What? No, not me, not this. How? It was difficult to speak about it because the truth is I still had stuff to do. I still had a baby to take care of. I still had my wife. I still had my firstborn. A lot of deep breaths helped me just to keep it straight face. And the truth is, I had to think about what my future could be now. What this was saying to me was that in the future, there's a possibility that I wouldn't be able to walk. What if this imminent collapse just crushes me when I'm walking down the stairs? The future I had thought I had to rethink now. I'm a teacher. And I spend a lot of time speaking to my students about envisioning what they want to become one day. What do you look like? What is the house that you go to? What is the car that you drive? 5 years down the line, who is that person? It happened one day while I was speaking to the students. This was possibly around 4 or 5 months after the surgery. I was speaking to them about the goals that I think that they should be thinking about. And I became so emotional in front of them. I didn't see it coming. I shed a tear. I had to sit down. I had to make it seem as if everything's still fine. When I look back on what had happened, I realized one thing. The goals and the mindset that I was preaching to them, I was actually preaching to myself. At this point, I was in a state of recovery still. On a daily basis, I was taking a handful of tablets, big tablets, Rifa 4. I won't forget that medication. For 18 months, I was taking this medication. But on that day, when I found myself getting so emotional and thinking back about what had happened, I realized to myself that in fact, while I was speaking to my students, I was actually speaking to me. I was busy sketching an idea about who I am and who I become and who I want to be. When I look back at it, I think about standing there. I think about what embarrassment I could have thought when I was seeing the students' faces. They didn't know what was going on. I'm sure by now, even when they see it and they think about it, they are telling themselves, Mr. Prinsloo had something going on. In any case, I realized that my identity, I had to rethink it now. Those words, imminent collapse, put everything in perspective. If I look to my future, I have to think about what it is that I want, what it is I want to become. Because when the doctor had that surgery, he put 2 rods inside my back, keeping everything up. Because the tuberculosis was eating 3 vertebrae. So I became the man with a back problem. That is the idea that I was kept on going over and over in my head. So what do? I have to think about how my future looks now. So I tell myself, my goal is to one day be able to have something for my kids, to be something for my kids. And there's a picture in my mind that helps me get through it. I'm getting out of a car, the old classic car. I walk over. I see my kids. I take an arm. We walk and we stand in front of a door. The door opens. In front of me, I see an aisle. And I'm walking my kids down the aisle. If I had to say how many years it would be before that happens, I would think 20, 30 years from now, perhaps. But that idea brought me through making every decision that I had to make. When I walk, when I do everything for my kids, when I take them by the hand, when I have to be in this phase of recovery, I'm telling myself and imagining that in my head. I'm walking with my child. It takes away what motivation could tell me. It takes away that fleetingness of what motivation is. It comes and it goes. With this identity that I've attached in my mind, it gives me the picture that I work towards. So I tell myself that every day, this picture that I want to become someday filters through and it helps me make the choices that I need to make. It helped me make the choice to do training so I can finish the marathon. After my surgery, I ran a marathon in 2024, 5 years after. A year later in 2025, I did another marathon. Why? Not because I want to get the medal, but because one day I'm going to walk my daughters down the aisle I used to think this idea of walking was something that I can do every day. I used to take it for granted. So I ask you, if you had to meet the person you become one day, what do they look like? What do you tell them? What do they look back and reflect to you? Because getting to be that healthier version of yourself, getting to be that successful entrepreneur that you want to become, it starts in the mind. Become before you are ready. Thank you very much.